It's so interesting that sometimes we're trying to be so many things, but you know, we're not allowing ourselves to be that. Are we getting overwhelmed by all the things that we want to create, but then we end up doing nothing? Do you know that feeling? Being paralyzed by all the things and the projects that you want to create in your life. Well, it's less of a paralysis. I'd say it's more of a, hmm, more of a, I don't know where to start, right? I think that's the thing. We're getting confused about how we want to get started, how we want to make all of those things happen without, you know, going through all the struggle. But it's interesting to know that there's an easy solution to that. I mean, if I think about my life and all the things that I want to accomplish and wanted to bring into my life, it was not so much about the things that, you know, someone else told me to do or have or achieve in life. I think above all, the most important thing is that you're choosing what is important to you and create something that is personal to you on many levels. Like, for example, I mean, what is the standard script of society? Like, get a family, make children, have a house, and yeah, have a decent amount of money so you can retire one day. But that never was attracted to me. You probably maybe also relate if you're listening to this right now. That it's not something I ever wanted to pursue, or it was never something that was really attractive to me. Like every time I was hearing that, I was seeing a boring, mundane life that is not exciting, not fulfilling, and above all, very predictable. But yeah, for me, the most important thing is unpredictability. I like to I like my life to be like an adventure, something that I can wake up to and not know what's going to happen. That I'm taking each moment, each step at a time, and be surprised, whether for good or bad, doesn't really matter. I mean, my perception there is not bad anyway. There's only stepping stones for our growth and evolution, because our mistakes and failures, they're the ones that are actually making us grow. The good things too, for sure, I enjoy them, but the hard things, the tough things in our lives are the one thing that are really important for us to grow. And if we can learn how to be not so rough with ourselves and know that this is just a necessary part of our evolution and not be reactive towards our mistakes and failures, then we'll see that this life is such beautiful unfolding, such a beautiful blossoming. Bliss, really much, because now we're experiencing freedom. That no matter what happens in our life, we can just respond consciously rather than reacting with fear or sadness or worries and stress and overwhelm. And so that gives us immense freedom to be able to choose how we respond to the situation. Because if we're automatically reacting to something bad or negative, we're ending up, well, pretty much in the same places. Every time the same situation occurs and comes into our life, we're reacting and we don't have a way to react differently because it's like automatic response. It's one response, one reaction that we keep repeating again and again because of a past negative experience. So we created a mechanism that anything familiar or similar that comes into our awareness is suddenly gonna be just automatically defended or pushed away. And so we're gonna keep getting presented with the same situations or similar situations until we learn how to consciously respond to it. Because every time we react the same way to similar situations, well, we're just asking for the same experience in our lives. So we just need to realize that it's really up to us how our life experience is in this moment. And realizing that we don't have just one choice or one option to choose from on how we want to respond to the same situations that occur in our life, but come into a space of freedom within that allows us to respond in many different ways, not just one. Because a reaction, an automatic pattern, like the defense mechanism that we have installed in the past because of a negative experience, it's just one way. It's just one way to respond to life. And it's not even made consciously, right? Because the difference between doing it consciously and unconsciously is when you're doing something consciously, you have a choice. You can choose from freedom. And when you're doing it unconsciously, well, there's not much to choose from. You have one option because that's the only way you know how to respond to. So if you want to enter the state of freedom within ourselves, we need to realize that we are in the position where we can respond to the situations differently. And it requires awareness. We may not be able to change what life throws at us, or we can, let's say, mold it or direct our lives in a certain way where we're presented of more possibilities that we like to experience. But it will never be 100% in our hands to direct our life. There's many variables that are there, but what is 100% in our life and in our hands is how we direct our inner experience. We cannot change the situation. We can only change the way we respond to the situation. And if it's a reaction, it's only one option. If we can consciously become aware of the moment where the situation occurs and we feel like, oh, this is something that triggers within me a certain emotion, and it's a familiar emotion, and it's usually a negative one. This is the moment where we can tap into awareness and come into that space of freedom where we can choose more than one option, and where we can not choose to respond out of fear or protectiveness, but out of freedom. And this might sound easier said than done, but it requires practice, that is for sure. It requires practice that once the same situation is being shown to you and you notice it, you don't react from fear. You're taking a moment to simply observe it, taking it as something that is not you, but something that is allowing you to see it as it is. And how can we do that? Well, I'll show you a simple process what helps me every time I'm coming into a familiar state and I notice, oh, there might be a reaction. There might be only one way to choose for me. What helps me a lot when I notice like there's some fire happening within me, because in the past I had like a lot to do with my anger, and I felt like a lot of anger towards and controlling towards certain things in my life when they didn't go the way I want them to go. And I felt frustration, simply. I felt frustration and angry. And when you're just like wanting to do a project and you want to achieve something and you're trying and trying and trying, and everything gets harder and harder because nothing seems to work out the way you want to, it just creates a lot of friction. It did for me, for sure. And so I noticed that I don't need to be frustrated. I don't have to be angry. I don't have to be so controlling. And it's really in those moments when you notice that it arises. These are the crucial moments. Don't do this afterwards. It's not about afterwards. It's the moment when it happens. It's where the most crucial moment is, because usually you have one option: anger, frustration. And when you're in that moment and you're experiencing it rising because you've experienced a lot of friction, because you're working towards your goal, nothing seems to work, and you're experiencing that moment, that emotion arising, this is where you have the choice. This is where you can choose freedom over fear. And choosing freedom is by allowing it to be experienced. That means allow your frustration to rise or your anger. Notice that you're trying to control it. Notice that you try to control the situation because it doesn't work the way you want it, right? And that is creating misery. That is what is creating friction. And so as you're experiencing it, as you experience that frustration and that anger arising, I know it needs practice. It might not happen immediately. But take a moment and close your eyes there. And just simply feel the emotion. And breathe through it. So you're experiencing the frustration right now. Imagine you're in this moment. Imagine you're experiencing this frustration and the friction arising. There's a certain heat within you. You feel frustrated. And so close your eyes for a moment. See how you're trying to control the situation. Feel the emotion of trying to control and force it to happen. And then while taking a deep breath through the nostrils. And as you exhale, you're fully relaxing your entire body. Dropping your body. Maybe you feel tension in your shoulder, in your jaw, in your face. Wherever there's tension, allow yourself to just fully relax into it. Feel how it feels to just simply sit here. How it feels to breathe the air in the room. Listening to the sounds around you. Maybe there's some birds chirping or a car passing by. Whatever it is, connect again with your sensation of this moment. And then you can take another deep breath. As you exhale, relax even more. And so, look at your frustration now. You probably, even if you now did it with me along the way, notice the shift in your energy. Now, it doesn't mean your frustration dissolved or your friction dissolved, but now you entered into a space where you have a little distance between you and the frustration. And that little distance allows you to choose now from a state of freedom. Now, you don't have only one choice to be in this situation. When something doesn't work out, your only option is no more or no longer just frustration or anger or forcing it. Now, in that space of freedom, you can ask yourself, how would I like to experience this? And so you're asking yourself, you're prompting yourself, and you're choosing your experience. And that is a huge empowerment towards your life experience, a huge empowerment toward yourself. You're giving the power again towards yourself. It's self-empowering you. Because what happened before is when you thought the situation didn't work out and you got frustrated, you were giving the situation all of your power. You were giving the circumstances all of your power. And so there was only one option for you, frustration. But from the place of freedom now, where you can ask yourself, how would I like to experience this moment? Oh, now you can choose it. Well, you can still choose frustration. Everyone has their own taste. If you want to still feel anger, go ahead. But the only difference is now that you have connected yourself with a deeper state of awareness and consciousness. That means now you're acting from awareness. So if you want to consciously be angry, do it. But if you would like to be something else, if you want to experience what you're doing this moment with joy or happiness or with ease, with flow, you can choose it now as well. There are a million ways. There are a billion ways. There are infinite ways how you can respond to the situation, to the same situation. And that is where our freedom lies. So I hope this video helped you. Thank you for being here and tuning in. I'm George, and I hope to see you in the next video. Or we're going to talk about a lot of different things that have not so much to do with the external world, but more about our inner world. Because this is what I believe, or not believe, I know is where our freedom lies. And so each and every day I want to bring that light here on the platform, and I'm looking forward to connect with you. Share with me in your comments how you feel, and if you tried out the method to respond differently, how it worked out for you. I'd love also to get to know you. Maybe give me a short introduction about who you are. What have you tried before when it came to being in frustrating situations? And what freedom means to you? I'd love to know your definition, and looking forward to connect. See you in the next video. Bye bye.